We're going to be like a kid in the candy store with a brand new truck. You know, who doesn't like a shiny brand new truck?
Plus, with students sent home to learn remotely but sporting events still on, a look at their policies and if they'll be changing anytime soon.
And later, he's leaving his mark. All eyes on a professional bull rider from Browning.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Thanks for making the MTN 530 News on KRTV a part of your Tuesday. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Hallie Schwinnard. Great Falls High School was closed again today after the recent reported cases of COVID-19, but that didn't stop sporting events from taking place around the district.
Our Matt Holzappel is live at Memorial Stadium with Great Falls Public Schools Director of Athletics Mike Henneberg to find out if we might see any changes at athletic events moving forward. Matt?
That's right, guys. As you heard Tim say, I am joined by Mike Henneberg, the Director of Athletics at Great Falls Public Schools. Mike, with the recent COVID cases reported in the district, so many so in fact that Great Falls High School itself was in remote learning today, have there been any discussions about changing attendance policies or other policies at sporting events in the district?
You know, as of this point, we haven't broached that subject. Obviously, we have our eyes on it, and but at this point, we don't feel that having spectators and having events is having an effect on the number of positive cases. And so until we really feel that that's a contributing factor, I think we'll continue to operate as normal.
Great Falls High School itself is in remote learning yesterday and today, yet they're still playing soccer here tonight. Is there any possibility in the future we'll see schools either postpone or cancel events because that school in that event is not doing in-person learning on that day?
Well, I don't think it would happen because a school isn't doing in-person learning. What could happen is, depending on how the cases play out, if we have a number of members of one team that are maybe quarantined, or if we start to have positive cases within the athletic teams, then that would certainly have to be a consideration, based on what our numbers are and so on and so forth. But I don't see, with all the different models of instruction that are going on around the state, we have some that are in a blended model and some that are in a block schedule and things like that. I don't see that happening, that if a school goes remote. But again, it's going to be up to individual districts and how they choose to handle those situations. So.
And then lastly, have there been any issues so far of spectators not following mask or social distance policies at events in the district?
Overall, I've been very pleased with our spectators and the ones that came in last week from Belgrade and Billings. I thought all of them conducted themselves in a manner that was appropriate. There's always going to be a few things, and I think the important thing that people need to understand is that we've kind of set everything aside to try and make this happen for the kids, and we're doing everything in our power to keep everybody involved safe. And whether or not you agree with our protocols or not, we're asking people to be compliant, just so the fact that we can continue to have athletic events and our kids the opportunity to play and participate. So that's kind of been our goal, and we don't want to be the mass police. We want people to kind of police themselves and just do the right thing. But there's been a few that we've had to remind. But overall, I've been very pleased with our own fans here, both CMR and Great Falls High, and then the visiting fans that we had in last weekend.
All right, so as you heard, no changes in policies expected at this moment, but still an eye for the district on keeping people safe and healthy. Mike, thanks so much. In Memorial Stadium, Matt Holzappel, MTN News.
All right, thanks, Matt. Well, one local fire department's wildland firefighting capabilities are getting a much-needed update thanks to a more than $330,000 grant. MTN's Coulter Anstad shows us what the Vaughan Volunteer Fire Department is replacing and how it will make fighting fires easier and safer.
I think a term we used to call it was piecemealed.
After more than a half-century of service, first with Sun Prairie's Fire Department and now with Vaughan's, wildland firefighting truck 1405 is being retired.
The year by itself is a reason to have it replaced. They would like to see apparatus no more than like 10 years old. We're still working with a manual transmission, old stuff, which is easy to replace for most of the common parts, but some of the bigger stuff like clutches become a problem.
But perhaps the most important upgrade the new truck will have is the ability to spray water on a fire from inside the cab of the truck.
Right now, we got to have a firefighter out. Pull out the hose line, and we got to have them right in sight so we don't drive over top of them. It's kind of a force multiplier. We can do a lot more with a specialized wireline truck like that than we can with, you know, dragging hose and having a firefighter outside the door and trying to keep an eye on him and keep him out of the fire and keep the truck out of the fire. And there's times there's visibility, you can't even see the firefighter right outside the door.
The new truck will also hopefully be able to hold around 1,000 gallons of water, nearly twice as much as old 1405. You could say it will be a new tool for the department. In Vaughn, Coulter Anstad, MTN News.
The new truck is expected to be ready to use sometime next year. Well, air quality conditions continue to be unhealthy for many. Here with more is MTN's meteorologist Grant Garland with a first look at the forecast.
Good evening, Tim, and good evening, everyone. And that's exactly right. I mean, we're seeing the same kind of conditions today as we were yesterday, looking at just flat out unhealthy air quality for those in Helena as well as Lewistown, out towards Missoula and Kalispell. Unhealthy for sensitive groups here in Great Falls. And we have looked at our air quality at least get a little bit better for those in Malta, now at moderate. I mean, this is what we're seeing out towards Helena, a very grim kind of look out there, very hazy. Temperatures 80 degrees for you guys in Helena, and those calm winds aren't really allowing for that smoke to blow either which way. We are looking at visibility conditions down to 3 in Helena, 5 in Cutbank, and 7 in Great Falls, 10 though out towards Glasgow. Elsewhere, temperatures 77 degrees right now in Great Falls, 76 in Lewistown, and 69 in Havre. And with our winds 13 miles an hour in Great Falls, Havre, as well as Cutbank. Over the last 3 hours, we have been looking at really sunny skies, just a few high-level clouds moving through, but no problem there. And we're looking at a cool down coming our way, but we're going to talk about that and more coming up in a few minutes. Hallie, back to you.
It's no secret that growth in Great Falls lags behind other Montana communities. Our Tom Wiley takes a look at the obstacles to development in Great Falls and what steps are being taken to make the Electric City a more desirable place to live and work.
Boarded up windows and shuttered storefronts have long been a staple of downtown Great Falls, and slowly but surely that's changing. Over the last few years, the area has seen revitalization, but there is still plenty of obstacles to growth.
I think when developers take a look at some opportunities throughout Montana, they're looking at growth and population growth, and that's probably been our biggest obstacle, honestly. When they take a look at Great Falls and then they take a look at Bozeman and Missoula and Kalispell and how some of those cities and counties are really exploding in population and even Billings, while we've been flatlined and stagnant in our growth.
But there are steps that a city can take to make things more conducive to growth. Through tax abatements and the evolving use of tax increment funds, public money can be used to help private developers get projects off the ground and in turn expand the tax base.
There are going to be projects that in order to work, they need support both of tax abatement and tax increment financing. And it's really just a question of how hungry are you to have a revitalized downtown.
The cost of redeveloping many old downtown buildings can be prohibitive, so developers have applied for TIF funds to install fire suppression or make projects ADA accessible. Other Montana communities have developed programs to use TIF funds for private business upgrades, yet Great Falls has not.
And while other cities have been, let's just say, more aggressive with it, we've been a little bit more cautious on it and we're a little more conservative. And now I think we're taking a look at it and say, hey, let's start getting up to speed a little bit and let's be a little bit more aggressive with our use of TIF funds as well.
Recently, Great Falls resident Keith Crone applied for TIF funds to aid in redevelopment of the Metropolitan Building downtown, the current home of Brush Crazy and the future home of Mountain Wave Distillery. And while the majority of his request was denied based on the current framework of the Urban Renewal Plan, it sparked a conversation about how to make Great Falls more growth-friendly.
Really what we're looking to do here is affect change right now, and you can't do that without bringing points of old resolution to now how you can view things up to par. And with that, we want to affect our downtown.
Reporting in Great Falls, Tom Wiley, MTN News.
Earlier this month, the City Commission asked Great Falls Planning and Community Development Director Craig Raymond to explore ways to expand the current tax increment funds system and hope to have a proposal ready before the end of the year.
Coming up, changes this hunting season as wildlife officials look to prevent the spread of chronic wasting disease.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Wildlife officials in Montana say there are changes to hunting season this year to ensure chronic wasting disease does not spread around the state. Fish, Wildlife, and Parks experts say priority surveillance areas for CWD are in northwest Montana, southwest Montana, and eastern Montana. According to FWP, CW disease is a fatal disease infecting deer, elk, and moose. Animals with CWD tend to look very weak and will walk in circles or have their legs spread far apart when walking. This year, sample submissions are completely voluntary but strongly encouraged. Submitting samples requires harvesting organs like the lymph nodes. Another change, carcasses do not need to be disposed of in the location they were hunted. However, they do need to be properly disposed of to prevent the spread of CWD.
Change those historical traditions of taking and dumping carcasses in the woods because that could be spreading chronic wasting disease. And so it's just so important to properly dispose of that carcass at a landfill to prevent the spread of chronic wasting disease.
Tabish says no cases of CWD have been reported this year. If you see an animal and suspect it's sick, you are asked to report it to your region's Fish, Wildlife, and Parks office.
There's an up-and-comer you'll want to keep your eyes on, a professional bull rider from Browning. MTN's Casey Conlon shows us why.
Dakota Lewis is like a fine wine.
I've just been getting better with age. I feel every day I'm getting better.
The 28-year-old Browning bull rider has been doing this for more than half his life, but he's never been better than right now. Lewis entered the PBR Area Invitational fresh off 3 top 12 performances in 4 events since the Unleash the Beast Tour started up again. But he saved the best for the home state.
Where you at, Billings? Let's go!
Lewis rode his first 2 bulls this past weekend, propelling him to a 7th place finish, his first ever top 10 on the top tour. And most importantly, he earned 20 world points that brought him from 38th to 33rd in the standings. The top 35 make the world finals. But he doesn't just want to make it to Vegas.
I'm shooting for top 5 this year and next year be going for the first place.
That may seem impossible to some, but aiming high is the only way Lewis knows.
My dad, he rode bulls, like I said, and he always just went for first. And he figured, you know, if you're going to do something, you might as well be all in.
Lewis owes a lot to his family, from his bull riding dad to his bull riding younger brother, Preston, who was competing at the Ram National Circuit Finals over the weekend.
You know, we've always been there to encourage one another, give the other one that competitive nature, I guess, and always be the first one to give them a hard time too when it didn't go their way, just giving that brotherly love. But no, it's been fun, and I'm very blessed to have that kind of encouragement in my family.
A trait he'll pass on to possibly the 3rd generation of Lewis bull riders.
I have a 3-year-old son, Hayes, and for sure anytime we get back to him after the weekend, it seems like he always grows an inch taller or gets bigger or something, you know.
Lewis says Hayes is the best part about going home to the family ranch near East Glacier, where his strength and family bond was born.
You got to be able to communicate when you're working with animals, and you know, not every day we just try making the best out of it.
It's a life Lewis is excited to get back to one day.
I sure enjoy ranching, and I raise black Angus cows and train performance horses and team rope, so I feel like I could do that for a while.
But not quite yet. There's some unfinished business here.
Browning, Montana, Dakota!
Casey Conlon, MTN Sports.
Lewis in the PBR ride in Des Moines this weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
The temperatures tonight, 30s and 40s for many. Don't go away, your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a pleasant Tuesday, that is, and ready to tackle on Thursday. We have seen a difference in a lot of temperatures today. The smoke has really hindered us from being able to get up to what we had forecasted yesterday. We saw 80-degree temperatures in Helena as well as Great Falls, 82 in Lewistown. You head on down towards Billings, 83, and 70 degrees right now in Havre. Now, as far as what we've been seeing, the average for this time of year is right around 70 degrees. The record was set back in 2000 when it was 95 degrees, also the year that we had great movies like Miss Congeniality and Remember the Titans and Bring It On. That was always a fun movie to watch. Overall, I mean, hazy conditions for really a lot of folks, especially over towards Helena. Really been looking at our visibility levels down as well as our air quality levels down for many folks, including those in Lewistown. Seeing right now 5 miles visibility in Lewistown, 3 in Helena as well as Butte, 5 up towards Cut Bank, and 7 right now in in Great Falls. Why is this happening? Well, it's because the high pressure in the south has been lots of these particles out from the west and southwest. We're looking at medium to heavy plumes of smoke in our region, bringing with it unhealthy air outside. For those in Missoula as well as Helena and Lewistown, we have seen unhealthy for sensitive groups here in the Electric City, and right now moderate conditions for those up towards Malta. Temperatures right now though, 77 degrees in Great Falls, 76 in Lewistown, a little bit cooler up towards Havre at 69 degrees, 75 in Jordan, and 80 in Helena. And even though we aren't looking at breezy conditions right now, we have seen wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour in Lewistown. Also, an air quality warning remains in effect until tomorrow and at 9 a.m. for those in Lewis and Clark County as well as Fergus County. As far as the last 3 hours are concerned, we've looked at a few high-level clouds making their way through the area, but other than that, no problems. They're not seeing any rain, which we really need to see that rain, but that's going to be coming this weekend. How dry are we going to get tomorrow? Well, we are expecting our humidity levels to drop to only 26% by right around 4:30 in the afternoon rather. And we are looking at our winds 10 to 20 miles an hour for those in Lewistown, but then elsewhere seeing just 5 to 10 miles an hour. So not really seeing a big problem for our windy conditions. Why are we looking at the weather that we are? Well, it's because of the stationary front that's really not moving much. It will allow for clouds to build in tonight, but we should be looking at a mostly sunny to sunny day tomorrow. Now, we are expecting for a hazy day though for those in Helena, but for Great Falls, we are expecting to see some clearer air tomorrow, which is good news. As far as Thursday morning goes, we start to see that the stationary front recede back a little bit before we look at our next system move in, which is going to be on Saturday. Temperatures will drop from 82 degrees on Friday to 70 degrees on Saturday. That's due to a low pressure moving across the area, and that's going to allow for us to really see our rain chances vamp up late Friday night into Saturday all throughout the day. Temperatures tonight, 44 degrees in Great Falls, 46 in Helena, and around 44 degrees in Lewistown. 39 though in Hayes. As we walk out the door tomorrow, 46 degrees, so you might need a light jacket if you are sensitive to the cooler air. But temperatures overall tomorrow, 76 in Great Falls, 83 in Helena, 75 in Lewistown, and 67 in Glasgow. Now, we aren't going to be expecting the hazy conditions for us here in Great Falls, but definitely for those in Helena. 80 degrees on Thursday with blue skies. Chance for showers and thunderstorms vamp up on Saturday with a 50% chance of seeing that, and overcast skies on Sunday. Keely.
The ice is starting to thaw for one Great Falls area catering business. I'm Keely Van Middendorp, and I'll have that story next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
The COVID-19 pandemic is affecting business owners in all sectors. In Great Falls, one catering company is seeing just 1/3 of its normal business due to coronavirus concerns.
But things are starting to look up. MTN's Keely Van Middendorp has more.
Since early March, Brian McKinney has been working to thaw his catering business, which has been chipped away by pandemic-related cancellations.
You know, there was about 6 months there where I did no events at all.
McKinney says he's not only lost money, but also precious product with each cancellation.
Ice is perishable, doesn't last forever, and there's been some events that have been canceled that it's just been a loss.
Now, McKinney says the pandemic has put a freeze on his catering events, but that's all about to change.
You know, just have high hopes that things will get back to normal pretty quick.
All Cool Ice and Catering is seeing smaller weddings and events begin to book again.
One of the weddings that I have going on, the groom is a Star Trek fan.
McKinney says residents' worries are slowly melting away as Montanans continue through phase 2 of Governor Bullock's reopening the Big Sky plan.
But I also think that people are ready to start socializing and start having events. They are consolidating to make those numbers manageable and work for them.
While the business has been hibernating over the pandemic, McKinney says others are on thin ice.
There are folks all over Great Falls and all over the nation that are experiencing the same challenges.
He says shopping local will make or break more businesses as consumers look to the holiday season.
If you're planning any events and you can use a local provider, you know, it's going to help them keep their doors open.
In Great Falls, Keely Van Middendorp, MTN News.
And don't go away, we'll be right back.
Temperatures tonight dropping down to 44 degrees in both Great Falls as well as Lewistown, 42 in Havre and 39 in Hayes. For the bus stop forecast, mostly sunny skies with temperatures right around 46. And we are going to be looking at overall temperatures 83 in Helena and 76 in Great Falls. Over the next 3 days, temperatures will start warming up before our next system moves in, bringing with it showers and thunderstorms for us this weekend.
And hopefully some more clear air.
Yes, hopefully starting tomorrow.
Warm and smoky.
That's right. That's all the time we have. We'll see you back here at 10.